Some years back, I saw a truly awful teaching video where the teacher explained that belly dance was all about striking the archetypical poses. And then she went on to strike some really bad examples of tomb poses, and actually with very little dance in between. No, you and I know this is not belly dance, but where did this pharaonic stuff come from? Hi, I'm Kashmir. Now, many people try and trace the roots of belly dance back to the time of the pyramids. Now, there's no evidence to suggest that the dance they did then was anything like modern belly dance. In fact, the evidence would suggest it was quite different, which is not surprising. We're looking at what, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago? There were many different styles of dance, but like I said, none that seemed to be the same. Now, this is not total conjecture. Irina Lexkova actually studied a lot of these paintings, and she looked at them from the point of view of dance and to see what sort of movements there were. And reading through her book, I'm not convinced that this is the origins of belly dance. If you want to, you can read it yourself and see if you come to the same conclusion. So, where did this pharaonic dance come from? As far as we know, it can be traced back to 1871. Now, in 1869, there was the opening of the Suez Canal. The idea was that at the same time as the canal was opened, the Khedive Opera House in Cairo would also be opened. And the idea also was that this would actually show a new opera by Verdi, Aida. Unfortunately, due to the siege of Paris, that couldn't happen, and Aida actually didn't premiere until 1871. So we're looking at about that time. Now, Verdi decided that he wanted his opera to include dance, and I think there were about 15 minutes of it, which was unusual for him. Now we have a problem. What sort of dance? It's entirely possible that actually getting to see real Egyptian dance in the 1870s would have been really difficult. But also, quite possibly, what they did see, they didn't think was suitable. So instead, they looked for inspiration in the paintings on the old tombs and the pyramids. And it wouldn't have been too bad if they'd actually used some of the dance poses, but they made two significant errors. First, they actually used depictions of offerings to the gods. Here we are, here's my whatever. And secondly, they took that stylized posture, which was seen for much of the old kingdom as the way that people actually moved. It wasn't, it was just a stylistic device. So from there, it built. In addition, of course, in Europe, there were a number of ballet companies that did Orientalist ballets. The most well-known of this would be the Ballet Russe. Now, the costuming and the stylization from the Ballet Russe made a huge impact on Egypt, and many of the things that people believe is true about Egypt actually comes from that stylization. But wait, there's more. In 1922, of course, they discovered King Tut's tomb, and the beauty and the amount of goods there was just overwhelming. I mean, the gold mask alone, the death mask alone, is just incredible. If you ever get a chance in Cairo, do go see it. And this built up the fever in Europe for all things Egyptian, and all sorts of people were doing Cleopatra and eventually this built into the Art Deco movement. So we have one small step building on the other until everyone knows that Egyptians dance like this. And of course, you and I know they aren't. Now, you will actually see pharaonic pieces sometimes in a belly dance show, and they can be a fun piece of a change of pace and a bit of a chance to have a laugh. And you also sometimes see them in deadly earnest, but let's not go there. The mistake is made that if people who are known as belly dancers are doing pharaonic, then pharaonic must be belly dance. Nothing could be further from the truth. So next time somebody asks you to walk like an Egyptian, don't do that. Give them a 3/4 down shimmy. Huh? See ya.